Welcome to Psychology Live. I'm Dr. Gail Majcher, and with me is Mary DiPaolo, limited licensed psychologist. We're so happy that you're joining us. We have started a series on effective communication, which we're going to continue today. But before we do that, if you want to get a hold of us, you can right there through YouTube. We love hearing from you. Your feedback has been wonderful. Your questions have been. And it makes us know that we are doing a good thing. You know, this one, we just started it on a whim, and it's turning out to be something very enjoyable, and we're glad that people are benefiting.
Right. So last time we left off talking about what effective communication actually is, and we'll repeat that definition, but we talked and focused a lot on how important it is to know you, yourself, before you can effectively and honestly communicate with others.
Wait, let me stop you there just for a second, because I want to reiterate something that we talked about last time. People may think they know themselves, but so many do not. Like if you ask someone what their honest feelings are about something, there's a good chance that they don't know. We all do it. There are defense mechanisms. We cover, we're afraid, we've been hurt, all kinds of things happen. So we pile on the defense mechanisms. A really good technique to do, and you'd probably want to do this almost every day, is get yourself a journal, write down I feel, and just see what comes out. Then the next day, I feel, and see what comes out. Just keep doing it till you start to identify what your real feelings are. So many of us, you know, we've done shows on codependency, so many of us filter through what does the other person want to hear from me, or what is the right thing to say right now. So it's like breaking through all that and thinking, what do I really feel right now? Do it throughout the day until you start to know what your real feelings are.
That's absolutely true.
Thank you.
So I was just telling Dr. Gail before we started this that someone that I see kept repeating the other day in my office how she doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So a lot of what she communicates to people is through the lens of, is this going to hurt their feelings? And I asked her, what the heck? You mean your honest opinion, attitude, belief, or feeling on any given subject first has to run through the sieve of, is this going to hurt their feelings if I say it? That's called being worried too much about what other people think.
And that's part of the whole codependency issue of the filtering what you feel to accommodate other people. The biggest problem with that is then you are not telling the truth.
Right.
And good mental health is being based in reality. It's where we tell the truth. And like with this client, if she is so concerned about other people's feelings, she's not telling the truth about her feelings. But my guess is she doesn't even know what her feelings are, because this is the pattern that goes on within her mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the most frustrating aspects of that whole communication process with people when we see them in therapy is that what they loved about their partner when they met is invariably the thing they can't stand when they want to leave.
So true.
And it's like, why? Why is that the case? Because they either minimize, downplay, or think that they're not so bothered by what they're observing and witnessing as they're getting to know each other.
In that beginning phase, when you're getting to know each other, you make a lot of assumptions. You know, you have a preconceived idea of who that person is. And so when they say things or they do things, you filter it through who you're believing they are rather than seeing who they really are.
Right.
Then you get married or you stay together and time goes on, and those very things you are no longer filtering through, oh, in my ideal world, that was a wonderful thing he was doing. No, it wasn't. You know, and then you start to see reality and what a difficult situation that is in a relationship.
And if you haven't already guessed, with effective communication, you do have to be rigorously honest. You can't be so overly concerned about censoring yourself or filtering through responses that you get and reinterpreting them in another kind of way. One of the things that, you know, we teach in therapy for a lot of people to help them get back to reality and not just gloss over what they hear or what they say that, you know, is the idealized version, is whenever you feel instantly confused, angry, or afraid of what somebody is saying to you, that's your cue, because all this communication has to be timely as well, to ask right then and there, any way you want to ask it, comfortably so. Oh, that's interesting. What made you say that? Oh, that's interesting. I hear the words, but I don't understand their meaning. Can you explain that to me, please?
That's a very significant point, because if you start to feel those negative feelings coming from that person, or you're just feeling threatened or whatever by what they're saying, yeah, stop the conversation right there and switch it to what Mary just said. What is it you're trying to say to me? Or, I'm feeling a little threatened right now, so tell me what you mean.
Right.
Let's clarify what's going on, because it may be that there is a good explanation, and then, you can have good communication, or it may be a situation where you need to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
You're feeling threatened or worried or scared by someone. Sometimes we have to just walk away from that.
Yes, and what is really unfortunate, because, as Dr. Gail was talking about defenses and defense mechanisms, one notorious defense mechanism we use is we think we can read each other's minds without any communication going on. So if somebody says, oh, I didn't like that, let's say to you, and you assume you know what they don't like, you know the motive behind why they said that in that moment, and then you react to that by saying, what do you mean you don't like it? How dare you? Blah, blah. Mm-hmm. What if they're saying they don't like what's behind you? I mean, you're not going to know unless you ask what their motive was and what they just said to you.
Yeah, what are they really thinking? What is the story behind the words? Mm-hmm. Because what you're talking about is, it happens all the time in relationships. I'm just thinking it happens all the time in text too. Mm-hmm. Because you get this statement and you don't really know what's behind it, and you can make all kinds of assumptions about it. And unfortunately, now so much communication is through text, which is a whole nother thing.
Yes.
But you don't really know the story. It may be something that's fine. It might be something that's funny. But you don't know unless you clarify it and get more information. When you are face-to-face, it's so easy to misinterpret, and before you know it, there's a full-on fight going on, where the first statement wasn't even a big deal. Mm-hmm. But that person wasn't clear on what their feelings were, and the listener wasn't clear on what they heard. So dial down to the very beginning.
Right, and as you have to be able to comfortably express and identify what's going on in your own head, Dr. Gail just said, listening. Do you know how horribly ineffective we are generally at listening? Because we're too preoccupied with what we're going to say next or what we want and all that. So we have become a nation of, what? Where we don't really listen as well as we should to one another to understand each other.
It's very true. Listening is like a key component in effective communication. And you can tell when you're talking to someone, if their eyes are starting to glaze over, they're not listening to you. Or if they're just going, mm-hmm. People often ask me if that's the way therapy is, where the therapist is just going, mm-hmm. That would be such an ineffective way of doing therapy, because it would be very easy to drift and not really be focused on the person. And our job, of course, is to be totally focused on the person who's in therapy with us. In just a relationship, it's still so important to be focused on the words and hear what the person's saying. In couples relationships, it's very easy to repeat back verbatim what our partner has said, but that doesn't mean we listened. It just means we're saying the words. We have to hear the emotion, the intent, all of that behind the words to be an effective listener.
That's absolute truth. So listening is crucial, as is being truthful and honest in your exchanges of both information and care. Now, next time, we're going to take a viewer question about effective listening so that you can understand in the full context of someone's relationship how effective communication works and doesn't work.
We love your questions. Thank you for sending them to us. So we will do that for the next show, and then we don't know where we'll go from there.
You never know.
But thank you for listening.
Have a great day.